So, ladies and gentlemen, trust the process is a phrase that has gained significant traction in modern culture, often used as a mantra to encourage patience, perseverance, and faith in the face of uncertainty. At its core, it suggests that one should believe in the journey they are undertaking, even when immediate results are not visible or when challenges arise. It's a call to relinquish the need for instant gratification and instead embrace a longer-term perspective where consistent effort and belief in a system or plan will eventually yield success. The phrase resonates deeply in contexts like personal growth, sports, creative endeavors, and even organizational change, where outcomes are not always predictable and progress can feel slow or intangible. To trust the process is to adopt a mindset of resilience, accepting that setbacks, detours, and delays are not failures but integral parts of a larger narrative leading to achievement. The origins of trust the process can be traced to various philosophical and practical roots, but it gained widespread recognition through its association with the Philadelphia 76ers, an NBA basketball team. In the early 2010s, the team's general manager, Sam Hinkie, implemented a controversial strategy to rebuild the franchise by intentionally losing games to secure high draft picks, betting on long-term success rather than short-term wins. Fans and analysts dubbed this approach the process, and Hinkie's unwavering commitment to it, despite criticism and years of poor performance, popularized the phrase, "Trust the process." It became a rallying cry for supporters who believed in the vision even as the team struggled. Eventually, the strategy bore fruit, with the 76ers drafting stars like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, turning the team into a contender. This real-world example cemented the phrase as a symbol of enduring faith in a plan, no matter how unconventional or prolonged. At a deeper level, trusting the process is about surrendering control to something bigger than oneself. It requires a leap of faith, an acknowledgement that not every step needs to be fully understood or immediately rewarding. In personal development, for instance, someone might adopt this mindset while working toward a goal like learning a new skill, losing weight, or overcoming a difficult period in life. The early stages of such journeys are often marked by frustration, progress feels minuscule, and doubts creep in about whether the effort is worthwhile. Yet, trust the process encourages individuals to focus on the daily habits and routines, the small, consistent actions that compound over time. It's a reminder that transformation is rarely linear and that the dips and plateaus are as much a part of growth as the peaks. This philosophy aligns closely with ideas from psychology and behavioral science, particularly the concept of delayed gratification. Studies like the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment demonstrate that individuals who can resist short-term temptations in favor of long-term rewards tend to achieve greater success in life. Trusting the process embodies this principle, urging people to prioritize the end game over fleeting comforts. It's about building discipline and cultivating a growth mindset where challenges are seen as opportunities to learn rather than as roadblocks. Carol Dweck's research on fixed versus growth mindsets complements this idea. Those who trust the process are more likely to believe that their abilities and outcomes can improve with effort rather than being static or predetermined. In creative fields, trust the process takes on a slightly different hue, emphasizing the messy, unpredictable nature of innovation. Writers, artists, and musicians often speak of the struggle to produce meaningful work, the blank page, the discarded drafts, the moments of self-doubt. Here, the process might involve experimenting with ideas, revising tirelessly, or even stepping away to let inspiration emerge organically. Trusting the process means accepting that creativity cannot always be forced or rushed. It requires time to marinate and evolve. For example, a novelist might spend years refining a manuscript, trusting that each revision brings them closer to a finished product worth sharing. The phrase becomes a shield against perfectionism, encouraging creators to keep moving forward even when the path feels unclear. In sports, beyond the 76ers story, trust the process is a staple of coaching rhetoric. Athletes are taught to focus on training regimens, team strategies, and incremental improvements rather than obsessing over the scoreboard. A marathon runner, for instance, doesn't win by fixating on the finish line from mile 1. They succeed by trusting the training plan, months of grueling runs, recovery days, and nutrition adjustments that prepares their body for the race. Legendary coaches like Nick Saban in college football have built dynasties on this principle, emphasizing the process of preparation and execution over emotional highs and lows. Saban's famous quote, "Don't think about winning the SEC championship. Don't think about the national championship. Think about what you need to do in this drill, on this play, in this moment," encapsulates the essence of trusting the process in athletics. On an organizational level, businesses and leaders often adopt this mindset during times of transformation or uncertainty. A company rolling out a new strategy might face resistance from employees or initial dips in performance. Leaders who trust the process remain committed to the vision, communicating its value and sticking to the plan even when early feedback is negative. Take Amazon's early years as an example. Jeff Bezos famously focused on long-term growth over short-term profits, trusting that investments in infrastructure and customer experience would eventually dominate the market. Critics scoffed at the company's losses in the 1990s, but Bezos's faith in the process turned Amazon into a global powerhouse. This demonstrates how trusting the process can be a strategic tool, not just a personal philosophy. Spiritually, the phrase echoes ancient wisdom from various traditions. In Buddhism, the concept of detachment from outcomes aligns with trusting the process, focusing on the present moment and the path rather than clinging to specific results. Similarly, in Christianity, Proverbs 3, verse 5-6 advises, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding," suggesting faith in a divine plan beyond human comprehension. These parallels highlight how trusting the process transcends secular contexts, tapping into a universal human need for meaning and patience amid life's unpredictability. Whether religious or not, the phrase offers a way to cope with existential uncertainty, fostering peace through surrender to a larger flow. Of course, trusting the process isn't without its critics or pitfalls. Blind adherence to a flawed plan can lead to wasted time or resources. Think of a gambler doubling down on a losing bet, convinced that persistence will pay off. The phrase can also be co-opted as a platitude, thrown around to dismiss legitimate concerns or avoid accountability. For it to hold real weight, the process being trusted must be sound, grounded in evidence or experience, and adaptable to new information. Sam Hinkie's strategy worked because it was calculated, not reckless. An artist's process succeeds when it's iterative, not stubborn. The key is balance, faith in the journey paired with periodic reflection to ensure the path still makes sense. Emotionally, trusting the process can be both liberating and daunting. It frees individuals from the pressure of constant validation. Success doesn't have to be proven every day, yet it also demands vulnerability, asking people to sit with discomfort and ambiguity without fleeing to quick fixes. In therapy, for example, clients are often encouraged to trust the process of healing, which might involve revisiting painful memories or sitting with unresolved feelings before breakthroughs occur. The phrase becomes a lifeline in these moments, a reminder that progress is happening beneath the surface, even when it's not immediately felt. Culturally, trust the process has evolved into a meme-way slogan emblazoned on t-shirts, hashtags, and motivational posters. Its ubiquity reflects a collective yearning for hope in an era of instant feedback loops and relentless comparison via social media. In a world where success is often curated and showcased in real time, the phrase pushes back, advocating for patience in an impatient age. It's a countercultural stance, asking people to value the unseen grind over the polished highlight reel. This resonance explains why it's been embraced by everyone from millennials chasing side hustles to executives navigating corporate pivots. Ultimately, trusting the process is about agency and surrender coexisting. It's not passive resignation, but an active choice to commit to a path and see it through. It acknowledges that life's most worthwhile pursuits, whether a championship, a masterpiece, or personal fulfillment, rarely come quickly or easily. Instead, they demand a willingness to show up, day after day, trusting that the dots will connect in hindsight. As philosopher Soren Kierkegaard wrote, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." To trust the process is to live forward with courage, betting on the unseen and embracing the slow burn of becoming. It's a quiet rebellion against haste, a testament to the power of persistence and a belief that the journey, with all its twists, is where the real victory lies.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Believe in the journey is a saying that has woven itself into contemporary life, often serving as a guiding principle to foster endurance, steadfastness, and confidence amid ambiguity. Fundamentally, it urges individuals to have faith in the path they're traveling, even when tangible outcomes remain elusive or obstacles loom large. It's an invitation to let go of the craving for instant success and instead adopt a broader view, where steady effort and reliance on a method or blueprint will ultimately lead to triumph. This expression strikes a chord in areas like self-improvement, athletics, artistic pursuits, and even institutional shifts, where results can be uncertain and advancement might seem sluggish or subtle. To believe in the journey is to cultivate a spirit of toughness, recognizing that stumbles, detours, and pauses are not defeats, but vital threads in a grander tapestry of accomplishment. The roots of Believe in the Journey can be linked to diverse philosophical and real-world origins, though it soared in prominence through its ties to the Philadelphia 76ers, an NBA team. In the early 2010s, the team's strategist Sam Hinkie launched a bold plan to overhaul the roster by deliberately tanking games to gain top draft selections, banking on future glory over immediate victories. Supporters and observers called this tactic the journey, and Hinkie's resolute dedication tempted popularize the phrase, "Believe in the journey." It morphed into a unifying chant for fans who bought into the dream, even as the team floundered. Over time, the approach paid off, with stars like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons emerging, elevating the 76ers to a competitive force. This concrete example solidified the phrase as an emblem of steadfast belief in a vision, no matter how unorthodox or drawn out. On a profound level, believing in the journey involves yielding control to a greater design. It demands a bold act of trust, a recognition that every phase doesn't need to be fully grasped or instantly gratifying. In self-betterment, for example, someone might cling to this outlook while chasing aspirations like mastering a craft, shedding pounds, or navigating a tough chapter. The initial stretch of such quests often brims with exasperation. Gains feel trivial and questions arise about whether the toil is justified. Yet, Believe in the Journey nudges people to zero in on the daily rituals and practices, the quiet, persistent steps that build momentum over time. It's a cue that evolution seldom follows a straight line, and that the lows and lulls are as essential to progress as the highs. This outlook dovetails with insights from psychology and human behavior, notably the idea of postponing rewards. Research like the Stanford Marshmallow Test reveals that those who can bypass fleeting temptations for bigger, deferred prizes often excel later in life. Believing in the Journey captures this ethos, pressing individuals to value the ultimate aim over passing comforts. It's about forging resolve and nurturing an adaptive mindset, where hurdles are viewed as chances to grow rather than barriers. Carol Dweck's studies on static versus dynamic mindsets echo this. Those who believe in the journey are more inclined to see their skills and destinies as malleable, shaped by dedication rather than fixed at birth. In artistic realms, Believe in the Journey takes on a unique shade, spotlighting the chaotic, winding essence of creation. Writers, painters, and composers often describe the battle to craft something meaningful. The empty canvas, the scrapped attempts, the waves of uncertainty. Here, the journey might mean tinkering with concepts, reworking tirelessly, or even pausing to let ideas bloom naturally. Believing in the journey means embracing that inspiration can't always be summoned or hastened. It needs space to ripen and shift. A poet, for instance, might labor over verses for months, trusting that each tweak nudges them toward a piece worth revealing. The phrase acts as a buffer against obsession with flawlessness, urging creators to press on even when the route feels hazy. In athletics, beyond the 76ers saga, Believe in the Journey is a cornerstone of coaching wisdom. Competitors are coached to hone in on practice routines, team tactics, and small gains rather than fixating on the final tally. A long-distance cyclist, for example, doesn't conquer a race by dreaming of the finish line from the start. They prevail by relying on the preparation, weeks of intense rides, rest periods, and dietary tweaks that primes their body for the challenge. Iconic mentors like Nick Saban in college football have forged legacies on this tenet, stressing the journey of readiness and performance over emotional swings. Saban's oft-quoted advice, "Don't dwell on winning the title. Focus on what you need to do right now." In this task, this moment distills the heart of believing in the journey in sports. In corporate settings, leaders and teams often lean on this perspective during seasons of upheaval or doubt. A firm unveiling a fresh approach might encounter pushback from staff or early slumps in metrics. Leaders who believe in the journey stay anchored to the mission, championing its worth and holding fast even when initial reactions sour. Consider Amazon's nascent days. Jeff Bezos prioritized expansive growth over quick profits, trusting that pouring resources into systems and customer loyalty would one day rule the market. Naysayers mocked the firm's deficits in the 1990s, but Bezos's conviction in the journey birthed a global titan. This shows how believing in the journey can be a tactical asset, not merely a personal creed. Spiritually, the phrase mirrors timeless teachings across faiths. In Buddhism, letting go of attachment to results parallels believing in the journey, concentrating on the now and the path rather than grasping for specific ends. Likewise, in Christianity, Proverbs 3:5-6 counsels, "Lean on the Lord fully and not on your own insight," hinting at trust in a higher order beyond mortal grasp. These connections reveal how believing in the journey transcends earthly bounds, tapping into a shared human quest for purpose and calm amid life's flux. Whether sacred or secular, the phrase offers a way to weather existential murk, breeding serenity through release to a wider current. Still, believing in the journey isn't immune to critique or missteps. Unquestioning loyalty to a shaky scheme can squander time or effort. Picture a speculator chasing a doomed wager, sure that tenacity will turn the tide. The phrase can also be hijacked as a hollow cliche, tossed out to sidestep valid worries or dodge responsibility. For it to carry true meaning, the journey trusted must be solid, rooted in reason or history, and flexible to fresh insights. Hinkie's blueprint worked because it was deliberate, not rash. An artist's journey thrives when it's responsive, not rigid. The trick is equilibrium, confidence in the road, paired with occasional pauses to confirm it still holds true. Emotionally, believing in the journey can feel both freeing and intimidating. It unshackles people from the burden of constant proof. Achievement doesn't need daily validation, yet it also calls for openness, asking individuals to dwell in unease and unknowns without rushing to easy escapes. In counseling, clients might be urged to believe in the journey of recovery, which could mean facing raw wounds or lingering in unresolved states before clarity emerges. The phrase becomes an anchor here, a sign that growth brews beneath the surface, even if it's not instantly sensed. Culturally, believe in the journey has morphed into a viral catchphrase, splashed across apparel, social media tags, and uplifting decor. Its reach reflects a widespread hunger for optimism in an age of rapid feedback and endless comparison online. In a society where wins are often staged and flaunted instantly, the phrase resists, championing patience in a restless time. It's a quiet revolt, prizing the hidden hustle over the glossy snapshot. This appeal explains its embrace by everyone from young dreamers building side gigs to executives steering company turns. At its essence, believing in the journey blends choice and release. It's not idle waiting, but a deliberate pledge to stick with a course and see it through. It admits that life's richest rewards, be it a trophy, a masterpiece, or inner peace, rarely arrive fast or smooth. Instead, they demand a readiness to show up, day by day, trusting the pieces will align in retrospect. As Soren Kierkegaard noted, life is grasped looking back but must be lived moving forward. To believe in the journey is to step ahead with grit, wagering on the unseen and savoring the gradual glow of unfolding. It's a stand against hurry, a nod to the might of perseverance, and a conviction that the road, with all its curves, holds the true prize.